How's everybody doing out there tonight? Welcome to the show, guys. I'm your host, Big T, right here with all of you guys today. And this is your AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest review and results show for actually AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest 2023 review and results show for today, Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. And this is also episode number 514 of the Beyond the Ring with Big T Elite Wrestling podcast here for today, Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. This is your AEW All in London Wembley Stadium 2023 Go Home Show. We're going to talk about this great show that we got tonight and everything else right here on Beyond the Ring with Big T in just a little bit. So kick back, relax, and your AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest 2023 review and results show will be coming up next after we hit the introduction. So stay right there and we will be right back.
This is M-Dog20, Matt Cross. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and you are checking out Beyond the Ring with my man, Big T. Thank you, man. Big T.
Hello, this is EC3 of TNA Wrestling, and you are so very fortunate because you are watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
This is the bad boy Joey Janela, and you're watching Beyond the Ring, Big T.
How's everybody doing out there tonight? I hope everybody's ready for another great review of AEW Dynamite here, because I'm ready. Alright, everybody, I'm your host, Big T, right here with all of you guys today. And this is your AEW Dynamite review and AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest 2023 review and results show for today, Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. And again, I'm your host, Big T, right here with all of you guys today. And this is also episode number 514. Of the Beyond the Ring with Big T Elite Wrestling podcast here for today, Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023, and this is your AEW All In Go Home show for AEW All In 2023. I am so excited for All In, especially after what we saw tonight. They really know how to build up a show and build up interest. I have a couple of pieces of news that I want to get into before we actually get into the review of the show. So let me see what I got here. Alright, so first off, right off the top, I want to pay tribute to one of the greatest wrestling legends and Hall of Famers in the history of professional wrestling. Terry Funk, WWE Hall of Famer and hardcore wrestling legend, dies at age 79 today. And that was absolutely heartbreaking. Just heartbreaking that another legend is gone, and this one hurts. Terry Funk was one of the all-time greatest, and I remember, his I Quit match with Ric Flair back in, 1989. That's, my favorite Terry Funk match, and, let's talk about it here. WWE Hall of Famer Terry Funk has died at the age of 79. The Nature Boy Ric Flair shared the news of Terry Funk's death on Twitter, and Terry Funk's friend Mick Foley also shared a tribute on Twitter. Terry Funk was predeceased by his wife Vicky, and leaves behind two daughters, Stacy and Brandy. Terry Funk and his brother Dory Funk Jr. followed in their father's footsteps by entering his promotion, Western State Sports, in the 1960s. Terry Funk went on to spend 12 years in championship wrestling from Florida and defeated Jack Briscoe for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship during that time. Terry Funk reigned for over a year until Harley Race defeated him, and then the Funk brothers also spent several years working with All Japan Pro Wrestling. In the midst of that, Terry Funk debuted in the WWF in 1985 as he challenged Hulk Hogan for the WWF Championship, and eventually teamed with Haas Funk to beat the Junkyard Dog and Tito Santana at WrestleMania 2. Terry Funk also worked in WCW before making his way to ECW, where he had iconic matches against the likes of Sabu, the franchise Shane Douglas, Raven, Stevie Richards, and the Sandman, while becoming a two-time ECW World Heavyweight Champion. During his second WWF run, Terry Funk portrayed Chainsaw Charlie in a tag team dumpster match with Cactus Jack, who's Mick Foley, against the New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, at WrestleMania 14. As Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack were able to beat the New Age Outlaws to win the WWE World Tag Team Championships for a day. They lost them the next night on Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania. Following that, Terry Funk and Mick Foley split to set up a no-holds-barred Falls Count Anywhere match on Raw. I believe it was in May, a month later, that Mick Foley ended up winning, and that was another great match to go back and watch for anybody who hasn't seen it. The remainder of Terry Funk's career was highlighted by more time in All Japan Pro Wrestling, MLW, TNA, and other indie promotions until his retirement match in 2017. Terry Funk received his WWE Hall of Fame induction alongside his brother Dory Funk Jr. in 2009, and then went on to induct Mick Foley in 2013, which I was there. That was in Madison Square Garden. And in 2021, Terry Funk was diagnosed with dementia. As far as any other details, this is a developing story, and it will be updated as more information becomes available. But for right now, rest in peace, Terry Funk. My thoughts and prayers are with Terry Funk and his family and his friends and his fans, and he will be greatly missed. A true legend in professional wrestling who is gone and will never be forgotten. And Terry Funk, especially with hardcore wrestling, definitely one of the greatest of all time. And it's just so sad that another legend, is gone too soon. Terry Funk, again, passed away today at the age of 79. Rest in peace, Terry Funk. I love you. Alright, guys. So, the other big story here is a report. Adam Copeland, Edge, is believed to be heading to AEW after WWE declines to retain his services. So since his victory over Sheamus in his hometown of Toronto, Ontario, Canada last week on SmackDown, there's been plenty of speculation on Edge's wrestling future and whether he could retire or return to the WWE or possibly even head to AEW when Edge's contract expires at the end of next month in September. So Edge's contract is not up yet, meaning you're not going to see Edge even show up in AEW at All In, All Out, or Grand Slam. None of that's going to happen. The soonest Edge will even show up in AEW, if he even will show up, would be in October at the very earliest. But, they can save that for the 4-year anniversary show of Dynamite. That happens in October. Or they could save it for full year. But who knows if Edge will even consider going to AEW. I know there's a lot of intrigue for him there and a lot of dream matches that he could have, for sure. And at the moment, the scenario of Edge going to AEW appears to be very much in play. Now, exactly why? Well, I'll tell you, because it is being reported by PW Torch that Edge had approached the WWE recently and presented them with a scenario that would lead to him re-signing with the WWE. Now, it is unknown what Edge's requests were, but whatever it was, WWE would ultimately reject Edge's request. As a result of it, the WWE now believes that Edge will be AEW bound and that they are aware of what Edge could make with AEW. Despite Edge's likely departure, WWE still went ahead with their celebration of Edge's career on SmackDown for their 25th anniversary of Edge, special SmackDown show, as well as the match with Sheamus. Due to wanting to create special segments and episodes for their marquee shows, it is also said that the WWE has no resentment towards Edge regarding the possibility of him joining AEW, indicating the split between the two sides, should it occur, will be on good terms. Now, this is not the first time Edge and AEW have been linked together, as Edge reportedly received an offer from AEW in late 2019, before ultimately re-signing with the WWE and returning to the ring after a 9-year hiatus at the 2020 Royal Rumble. AEW owner Tony Khan is said to be a big fan of Edge, and Edge's arrival in AEW would reunite him with his longtime former tag team partner Christian Cage, who is currently reigning as AEW TNT champion. So, that's huge news. the reason why Edge decided to stay with WWE the first time around when he made his return, obviously, was because, Vince McMahon obviously got wind of and, heard that Edge was thinking about jumping ship to AEW then. Vince McMahon, of course, being Vince McMahon, approached Edge, said, what are they offering you? I'll match it or even pay you more because I want you here with me in the WWE. So, Edge took the offer that WWE gave. Now, I think the reason why Edge's offer and his request was rejected as of right now, because, the only time an offer or a contract is declined as far as a request goes is because of what they call in wrestling the 2 C's, cash and creative. Now, it's either one or the other, or it could be both. If it's cash, obviously, that's WWE's loss. And, the whole thing is, with the merger with Endeavor that is set to take place within the next month or two before it's finalized, probably with the request that Edge had, WWE maybe couldn't do anything, until the merger goes through. But then the whole thing is, Endeavor's looking to cut budgets left and right. They're not going to be paying, the wrestlers as much as the wrestlers were getting paid before. Endeavor's cutting budget, and they're gonna, they're gonna trim everything down as far as expense-wise. So, now, with Endeavor cutting budget, and Tony Khan, obviously, willing to spend whatever he has to spend, to get the biggest and best wrestlers in AEW. Obviously, WWE, I would think it wasn't a creative thing. I would think they probably disagreed on the cash part of it. And because of the whole thing with Endeavor, they couldn't make it come to fruition. Edge is deciding to split. And if he does go to AEW, Tony Khan is definitely going to match Edge's deal that he had with WWE now recently, or he might even give him more money. And Edge will probably be wrestling like the same kind of schedule, as he did in WWE. I would think, at least, but we'll see exactly what they do here. But I would love to see Edge in AEW. I would. Edge in AEW, I think, would be awesome. Edge could reunite with his former tag team partner and real-life best friend Christian. Edge and Christian could get back together. Edge could have dream matches with, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho. The possibilities are endless. So many stars in AEW that Edge can work with. CM Punk, the possibilities are endless here. So, for that being, if you look at WWE, obviously I don't think WWE was going to give Edge a world title run, even though they should have. I think he deserves one more world title run, for Edge. I would be all for it. WWE was probably not for that as well. If you really look at WWE, where things are at right now, there's really only a couple of more things that Edge can do in WWE that would be intriguing to me, at least, and maybe to you guys too. I would love to see Edge versus Brock Lesnar. That would be a great match. And also Edge versus John Cena one last time. But beyond those two matches and those two feuds, there's really nothing else there in WWE for Edge to do with this current roster. Edge has done it all over his 25 years in WWE. Anything else that he would do, you're just kind of rehashing everything that he's already done. So that could be another thing, that Edge's creative in WWE has kind of hit the proverbial big, brick wall. And, that could be another thing. Edge wants new and fresh things to do creatively, and if that's what he wants, I do not blame him for that. So, I'm just hoping that Edge does show up in AEW. I would love to see him there. And I would love to see what he can do. Can you imagine Edge and Christian versus the Young Bucks, Edge and Christian versus FTR, you know, all those singles matches with Edge, you know, Edge and MJF, Edge and Adam Cole, Edge and Kenny Omega, Edge and Chris Jericho. You know, you can do a Forbidden Door thing with, like, Edge and Will Ospreay. I mean, you know, Edge and Bryan Danielson, Edge and Jon Moxley. I mean, there's so much that can be done. The possibilities are endless for Edge and AEW, and I hope that's where he ends up. So those are the two big stories that are going around right now, and I wanted to share that with you guys. And now we will see, you know, what happens going forward. In a little update on Terry Funk, I'm looking here and I found a little something with the Wrestling World. The Wrestling World reacts to the death of Terry Funk. News of the death of wrestling icon Terry Funk at the age of 79 broke earlier today, unleashing a torrent of tributes from a grateful wrestling world that would likely not exist without Terry Funk's contributions to the professional wrestling business. So, this was from the Blue Meanie here, and I quote, "A day I wish would never come," Blue Meanie wrote, sharing a photo of Terry Funk with the ECW roster. And then he continues to write, and I quote, "Thank you, Terry Funk, for what you did for wrestling. Thank you for helping ECW. Thank you for being kind to me. I love you." End quote. Terry Funk was responsible for bringing a level of credibility to ECW in its early days of operation, which was rewarded when Terry Funk won the ECW World Heavyweight Championship at ECW's first ever pay-per-view, barely legal in 1997. I believe it was April of 1997 to be exact. Fellow ECW veteran Lance Storm was at a loss for words, you know, due to Terry Funk's death. Lance Storm tweeted out, "I will say more eventually. This one hits hard. Rest in peace, Terry Funk. A pleasure and honor to know you. Respect, always." WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque wrote, and I quote, "Every night in cities all over the world, Terry Funk left it all in the ring for our business and for the fans, an icon of our industry," end quote, before he ended up sending condolences to Terry Funk's friends and family. Now, Dustin Rhodes from AEW wrote, and I quote, "Truly heartbroken over this. He has, you know, AEW's Dustin Rhodes wrote, he continues, he has known me since I was a child. He was an incredible mentor and friend," end quote. Dustin Rhodes' brother Cody Rhodes also shared a tribute to Terry Funk, simply writing, and I quote, "The Funker," and end quote. Now, an influence of a generation was Terry Funk. Terry Funk was a world-traveled competitor, and according to William Regal, Terry Funk crossed paths with William Regal, with William Regal noting that he treasures his memories of Terry Funk. Former WWE World Heavyweight Champion AJ Styles, the Phenomenal One AJ Styles, broke his usual rule about not posting about a person's death, but noted that he made an exception, as Terry Funk, and I quote, "will always be absolute legend," end quote. AEW's Frankie Kazarian shared a photo of Terry Funk and himself at a Cauliflower Alley Club event where Frankie Kazarian was honored, writing that Funk was, and I quote, "an influence of a generation." Here's Frankie Kazarian's tweet, and Frankie Kazarian wrote, "The words great and legend are thrown around way too frequently. Terry Funk was both of those things, and so much more. An incredible and unique talent, an influence of a generation, an absolute gentleman, a man I was honored to have been friendly with. Godspeed, sir. And a sad face emoji. And then the photo of them together. And then Ring of Honor broadcaster Ian Riccaboni shared a gif of Terry Funk's famous farewell speech in Japan, where Terry Funk yelled, "Forever," over and over again. Terry Funk at the time assumed he was leaving Japan for good, but he ended up returning many times in a potent metaphor for his seemingly endless ability to reinvent himself. Many other wrestlers, including Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Dolph Ziggler, shared photos of Terry Funk during his career, opting to not eulogize him in text. WWE NXT's Joe Gacy said that Terry Funk was, and I quote, "one of the nicest, most genuine people out there," end quote. During Joe Gacy's solo meeting with Terry Funk, while Drew McIntyre repeated the famous, and I quote, "forever" chant, end quote, that Ian Riccaboni referenced, as did the AEW World Heavyweight Champion MJF, who referenced that forever quote as well. As of publication, more tributes are still being contemplated, written, and posted, which speaks to the immense impact that Terry Funk's life and career had on the professional wrestling business. And again, I would like to send my condolences to the friends, family, and fans of Terry Funk. Rest in peace, Terry Funk. You're gone but not forgotten, and I love you. Alright, everybody. So that is everything in the news. Let's get into AEW Dynamite here. We got AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest 2023 review and results show for today, Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. We got Jon Moxley versus Rey Fenix, Will Ospreay and Chris Jericho contract signing, and the Elite compete. So, AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest 2023 for Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023, coming to us live from the Gas South Arena in Duluth, Georgia. Tonight's Dynamite Tonight's Dynamite is the go-home episode for the highly anticipated All-In event this weekend, and Tony Khan has teased that changes to the match card will be taking place, which could be revealed this evening. Renee Paquette will be helping to build the All-In main event, as she is set to speak with Adam Cole and MJF separately, as they prepare to compete against each other for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in the main event of All In. Now, MJF and Adam Cole are set to challenge for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships against Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis of Aussie Open during the buy-in 0 hour pre-show. But who they will be facing shall be determined tonight. That is because Aussie Open will be putting their Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles on the line against Matt and Jeff the Hardys. After being attacked by Will Ospreay last week, Chris Jericho will look to make their encounter at Wembley Stadium official when they sign their match contract. Meanwhile, the Young Bucks are set to go face-to-face with their All-In opponents FTR, and the Elite are also going to be in action tonight against the Guns and Rock Hard Juice Robinson as the Bullet Club Gold members attempt to gain the upper hand ahead of their All-In encounter. Jon Moxley and Rey Fenix are also set for singles action ahead of the Stadium Stampede this weekend, as each man aims to build momentum towards Sunday's All-In show. Meanwhile, the Blackpool Combat Club could reveal their teammates for that match. And then Sky Blue will be in action against Ruby Soho, while Nick Wayne attempts to get revenge against Swerve Strickland and AR Fox for their attack on him when he competes against them with Darby Allin. And finally, after defeating Rob Van Dam, RVD, a couple weeks ago on AEW Dynamite, Jack Perry has promised that he will be retiring the FTW World Heavyweight Championship tonight. So that is the rundown of the entire show that you need to know about. And what's up, Darth, and what's up, Hunter? Darth, I don't think there's going to be any surprises at all as far as who's going to show up, because Edge is not showing up. The only one that I can think of is maybe Goldberg, but even that's a stretch. What's up, Hunter? Tonight was a good night for professional wrestling. It really was. So let's start off the review here. We have the Elite, the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson, and Kenny Omega going up against Rock Hard Juice Robinson and the Guns, Austin and Colton Gunn. So the Elite versus Bullet Club, Gold in a Trios match to get us warmed up for Sunday's Trios match at All In. Let's see, Hunter. Oh, I know about Kenny Omega and Switchblade Jay White having a brutal history together. I'm glad that Excalibur explained it. But yeah, they didn't get into full detail that Kenny Omega was the leader of the Bullet Club, which I'm fully aware of. So, I mean, they could really build off that history in New Japan Pro Wrestling if they would go that route, which I hope they would, to be honest. So, in this match here, the Elite waste no time jumping the Guns and Rock Hard Juice Robinson straight out of the gate as all six men begin brawling around ringside. Rock Hard Juice Robinson picks up a steel chair and attacks Nick Jackson with it, and but when he tries it a second time, referee Rick Knox pulls the chair away from him. However, Rock Hard Juice Robinson drops the referee with a right hand, and Bullet Club Gold takes charge with Switchblade Jay White, helping out to prove a numbers advantage. Matt Jackson does gain an advantage with some super kicks, but Switchblade Jay White gets back involved. Kenny Omega takes him out and then launches the Guns around the ring, but once again, Switchblade Jay White gets back into the ring, only for him to eat a V-trigger as Omega aims to hit another one, the V-trigger knee, but Konosuke Takeshita appears, nailing Kenny Omega with a clothesline to stop that from happening. The brawl continues until FTR makes their way down and makes their way down to the ring and levels up the numbers, evening them up, helping the brawl to become more even. Takeshita and Omega are left alone in the ring, with Omega hitting a V-trigger knee. But as he goes for the one-winged angel, Takeshita manages to dive out of the ring and make his way up the ramp. MJF is then shown backstage with Renee Paquette, as MJF admits that his trunks will be tight, as he loves the idea of fans cheering for him, as he wants the fans to get a pint, get pissed, and cheer on their favorite champ. As he promises he will buy everyone a pint if they do it. However, he does admit to feeling pressure for this Sunday at All In, as it doesn't happen without the people who paved the road prior, as MJF lists the likes of Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Triple H, and The Undertaker. So, he says that he is standing on the shoulders of giants, and if he wins, he might become one himself, so he's ready for the pressure. MJF says he never had a genuine friend before, and Adam Cole has made him a better person, as he taught him that he could trust and let his guard down, and he calls Adam Cole his brother. And MJF says brothers push and fight each other, but they hug it out, as MJF asks fans to be vulnerable with him, and he promises they will be rewarded as he is their scumbag. So, let's see. But yeah, as far as that match with the Elite, it ended in a no contest because the ref was down. Everything just kind of, was a big brawl, and that's all we got. And, not really, it did what it needed to do to build towards All In, so I see why they did it. It kind of gave a little more heat to the match. I think it was a good idea for them to do that, because, that's what was really needed here. So that was good. That was a good brawl. Good promo from MJF to get, everything set up to set the stage. So I like that as well. And let's see what we got here. Kenny Omega brought in a young Jay White to bolster the future of Bullet Club for Jay White to stab Kenny in the back and became the leader while Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, Hangman, and the Bucks. Oh yeah, Hunter, I remember it all too well. All too well. What's up, Jordan? How you doing? Good to have you in here. Yeah, I saw they're selling the All-In 2018 DVD. They're only doing it for like 2 weeks on AEW Shop, but I thought that was pretty cool. But let's see. So now that we got all this done here, let's get into the first actual match that happened. And it was very good. It was very, very good. Jon Moxley going up one-on-one against Rey Fenix. So, Rey Fenix and Jon Moxley, they immediately start out the match brawling as they exchange chops. But it is Rey Fenix who takes advantage, sending Jon Moxley out of the ring as he then hits back-to-back dives out of the ring. However, Jon Moxley quickly turns things around by attempting to pull Rey Fenix's mask off, as he then stomps him headfirst onto the mat, as he then boots him in the face for good measure. Back inside the ring, Rey Fenix fires back with several kicks, but Jon Moxley avoids the boot when Rey Fenix runs the ropes and eventually catches him with a huge clothesline. Both men then go back to throwing jabs at each other, as Jon Moxley begins to take control with his aggression, focusing on Rey Fenix's taped-up elbow. Jon Moxley then drops Rey Fenix with a pile driver, but Rey Fenix responds with a huge super kick of his own. Rey Fenix then springboards from the second rope to hit a spinning back kick to the face of Jon Moxley, but he then gets caught up in a rear naked choke, only to jump out and then stomp on Moxley before nailing a cutter. Fenix catches Moxley with another super kick before hitting a huge frog splash that Moxley only just kicks out from, a near fall at 2. Moxley responds with the anti-air, but both men go down after their heads collide. Both men pop up and then begin exchanging forearm strikes and chops as that continues up to the top turnbuckle, where Moxley ends up biting the face of, let's see, I continue, Moxley ends up biting the face of Rey Fenix, but Rey Fenix is wearing a mask, so I don't know how good that did, but anyway, Moxley then nails an avalanche death rider, but Rey Fenix kicks out, as Moxley locks in a sleeper hold to gain a submission victory, with Rey Fenix tapping out or passing out. Your winner is Jon Moxley, in a great match here with Rey Fenix. And then the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club arrive after the match with crowbars in hand, yet Rey Fenix's partners try to appear only for Ortiz to appear blocking them. Santana then makes his return, and they take out Eddie Kingston and Penta, while Rey Fenix gets dropped with a crowbar and has to be stretchered out of the arena. So Santana and Ortiz, proud and powerful, they show up and making their return. And I'm telling you, they look great. They look to be in great shape upon return. And they turn heel and join the Blackpool Combat Club. I don't know if they'll be members of the Blackpool Combat Club or if they just help them out, if this is for a heel turn thing or what. But this was good stuff here. Really liked it. Jon Moxley getting the win was cool. Rey Fenix getting written off, television for a little bit, going into All In. So that's one of the changes right there that Tony Khan is making to the card, which I have no problem with whatsoever. After this, backstage, Renee Paquette tries to speak with Eddie Kingston, but Eddie Kingston points out that it was her husband Jon Moxley who did this, as he pushes the microphone out of his face. So a little tension there with Renee Paquette. Like how they worked that into the storyline. That was good as well. Here's another thing that was absolutely fantastic. Chris Jericho and Will Ospreay have their contract signing for their match at All In. But first, Renee Paquette is then shown with the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara. As the other members of the Jericho Appreciation Society point out that Chris Jericho did say yes to Don Callis, Sammy Guevara says that Chris Jericho is blinded by friendship, and when your friends are in the wrong, you have to have their back. Cool Hand Angelo Parker says he doesn't want Sammy Guevara to make the same mistake, as he wonders if Chris Jericho will be there for, Sammy Guevara in return. But anyway, this leads to Will Ospreay and Don Callis then heading to the ring for the contract signing, with Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara meeting them inside the ring. So Sammy Guevara standing by Chris Jericho here. Don Callis says he did what he did because of Will Ospreay, as Don Callis realized the only thing better for him than having Chris Jericho and the Don Callis family was by ending Chris Jericho's career. So Don Callis had to make an offer to Will Ospreay, that nobody else could make. And the clincher was offering Chris Jericho's head on a silver platter at Wembley Stadium at All In. So Don Callis points out that Chris Jericho nearly died in England previously. And, guess that maybe he's referring to when Chris Jericho was hospitalized in England, what was it, about a year ago or whatever, due to some medical issue. But anyway, Don Callis says in this Sunday he will be ringside to help make it happen to where Jericho actually does finally die in England. Let's see, Ospreay then questions if Jericho is taking this seriously, or is this a vanity project to say that his band Fozzy played at Wembley Stadium, because I guess Judas is going to play, or Fozzy is going to play the song Judas live at Wembley Stadium, which I think is going to be awesome. But Ospreay says this match changes his life, as he is trying to get as much money as possible to help his stepchild go through school. Ospreay points out his contract with New Japan comes up and is up in 6 months, and who won't pay millions for him because he knows that he is the best wrestler in the world. So Ospreay already alluding to, in the end of January or sometime in February, his contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling is up. So we'll see if he sticks around or if he leaves there and just becomes all elite. Chris Jericho ends up congratulating Will Ospreay on what he's accomplished, but Jericho points out Ospreay would not have done that without him. Jericho called Ospreay 5 years ago and told him to tone things down to have the longevity, because he knew what Ospreay would be before anyone else knew. Jericho points out this match has been in the works for years, and you know, this is his biggest show of his career. This is bigger than any WrestleMania, any Tokyo Dome show, anything, which would be Wrestle Kingdom, by the way. It means more to Jericho than anything else, as he is coming at it from the top of the mountain. Jericho tells Ospreay to prove it, and you know, tell him that he's not going to regret stopping him from being in a wheelchair. Jericho then slaps Ospreay, and then they are pulled apart by security. Can't believe Ospreay had to say, you know, that he's not going to regret, you know, stopping him from being in a wheelchair. You know, Ospreay wants to put Jericho in a wheelchair. They had the pull-apart brawl, pulled apart by security. I mean, this was a fantastic segment. Everything about this was great. I loved it, you know. And they did really, really good here. Let's see. What's up, Omar? How's it going? Yeah, Santana and Ortiz reunited just in time to travel to London. But yeah, this was awesome. I can't wait for Jericho Ospreay. To be honest with you, I think Jericho Ospreay is going to be an amazing matchup. And people who might not be thinking about it right now or thinking that it's going to be the best match, I think you guys are going to be missing out and sadly mistaken, because this match is going to be absolutely incredible. You know, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Next up here, Darby Allin and Nick Wayne. After this awesome contract signing, Darby Allin and Nick Wayne team up to take on the team of AR Fox and Swerve Strickland in a Tornado Tag Team match. We all know that this has gotten personal lately, so we'll get into this in just a little bit, but first, Adam Cole is then shown with Renee Paquette, and Adam Cole thanks MJF for reminding him who the real Adam Cole is, and Adam Cole says he will love MJF forever for doing that, as Adam Cole says he got into wrestling to be the best wrestler in the world, and the AEW World Heavyweight Championship solidifies that, which is why he needs to win the match, and Adam Cole says he will. Adam Cole then sees footage of issues that he has had with MJF, but he says he is done, and he questions why people find it so hard, you know, to believe that they are friends. There are no issues between them at all, and the tag team match then starts. Or wait, there's no issues between them at all, and that's where that is left. Now we move on to that Tornado Tag Team match. The tag team match then starts at an electric pace as they all begin brawling until AR Fox leaps to the top turnbuckle and hits a German suplex to Nick Wayne, as he follows that up with an implosion senton to both of his opponents, as he then throws the bloody tank top from the Nick Wayne beatdown right at Nick Wayne's mother sitting at ringside. So Swerve Strickland continues the beating by throwing Nick Wayne back first onto the ring apron. Nick Wayne and Darby Allin fight back as Wayne hits a double Wayne's World on the outside of the ring, with Darby following it up with a coffin drop to them, as the fight spills into the crowd, as the two teams brawl with each other, as Darby hits a coffin splash to Swerve while he is placed onto a chair. However, Fox drags Wayne towards his mother, showing him beaten down as they all head back to the ringside area. Wayne then gets suplexed onto the floor right next to his mother, but back inside the ring, Darby hits a stunner to Fox before he launches himself out of the ring at Strickland or at Swerve, as he then sits Swerve on a chair, but Fox wipes him out first and pulls Darby on the chair, as Swerve stomps down on him from the top turnbuckle, as Swerve and Fox then place their focus on Nick Wayne hitting a variety of moves that he continues to kick out from afterward. Despite that, Wayne locks in a clever pinfall attempt, hooking the legs of Fox, and with Darby stopping Swerve from getting involved, they pick up the win, the 1-2-3 in the pin and the win. And your winners are Darby Allin and Nick Wayne of this Tornado Tag Team match. Now, after the match, Swerve gets on the microphone and laughs, and he says it is so disappointing to AR Fox, as he questions why he blows every opportunity and says he tries, but he questions why he's such a loser. Swerve says this is all a test and he can't trust him at Wembley Stadium. And Prince Nana fires AR Fox, as Brian Cage then wipes out AR Fox and beats the shit out of him. However, Darby Allin, Nick Wayne, and Sting then appear and chase the Mogul Embassy, or whatever their name is, their team name is, their faction name. They chase them away. Darby then says he still owes his career to AR Fox, and they shake hands. While Christian Cage then appears with Luchasaurus. Christian Cage is wearing Luchasaurus' TNT title, by the way, as Christian Cage points out that Nick Wayne's father was a talentless hack, and Nick Wayne doesn't have much to live up to. And he's like, yeah, you had a father, but your father is dead. Really getting into Nick Wayne's head, just like Christian did Jungle Boy Jack Perry in their feud that time ago. But, Christian tells Nick Wayne to stay away from Wembley, or he will see the coffin door close on someone else that he cares about, maybe meaning Nick Wayne's mother. I don't know. But Christian Cage, man, what a heel. What a heel is Christian Cage. Nobody quite like him, let me tell you. Very good at what he does. Alright, guys. So that was a great match as well. Really building to All In. Yeah, All In on DVD. It should be like a special, like there should be special extras on there, like a special release, more than just the show itself. Since they're only releasing it for 2 weeks, I mean, I'm right there with you on that one, Omar. Alright, the Young Bucks and FTR face off with each other. So Renee Paquette is then shown, and FTR says that they helped them earlier because they want to know which team is the best, not because they are friends. Matt Jackson says, when they first did All In, it seemed impossible, and now here we are, and being the biggest match of their career is an understatement, while Nick Jackson points out that Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood needs to beat them. Cash Wheeler agrees there is a lot on the line in this match, while Dax Harwood says this goes beyond business, it is personal. Harwood says it goes far beyond the AEW World Tag Team titles. It is about legacy, and the only team that stands in FTR's way is the Young Bucks. Matt cuts off Harwood and reminds him how he feeds their families, as they are the reason they got brought in to AEW in the first place. Matt says when they hang it up, people will give them their flowers for being the best team to ever compete, while they say FTR are the guys they named on their YouTube show. When the Elite used to pick on the Revival, and they used to say, fuck the Revival, that's where FTR pretty much came from, on their YouTube show being the Elite. Harwood then says the Bucks had to use their name to try and get on their level, but in front of over 80,000 people, they will make them. they will crack their foundation at Wembley Stadium. So that was that. Great stuff. Great face-to-face. Awesome way to build. Going into All In, you know. Awesome stuff. Gotta love it. Next up, the one women's match of the night, of course, taking place at the 9:30 segment of the show like it does most weeks. Ruby Soho going one-on-one with Sky Blue. Ruby Soho attempts to attack Sky Blue, but straight away, but she instantly turns things around by sending Ruby into the barricade. Yet inside the ring, Ruby regains control by slamming Sky Blue to the mat. And then Sky Blue fights back by sending Ruby Soho to the floor, as she then hits a diving crossbody from the ring apron all the way down to the floor. However, Ruby distracts the referee when they get back to the ring, as she knocks Sky Blue off the top turnbuckle. Sky Blue catches Ruby with a forearm, which allows her to hit the crossbody from the top turnbuckle this time, and then a neck breaker, as both women then go back and forth with pinfall attempts, but neither of them get the win. Sky Blue connects at the Skyfall, but Ruby Soho manages to kick out. Ruby Soho then hits the No Future and the Destination Unknown to Sky Blue to get the 1, 2, 3 and the pin and the win. Your winner is Ruby Soho. No shock there, and the match was what it was. Very basic. I just think of, the greatest women's wrestlers out there in the world, that you can use to be a part of your roster to really change the game in the AEW women's division. And the one woman that I have said before and gone on record saying before to be the greatest women's wrestler in the world, Tessa Blanchard, Tessa, I've said this many times, that Tessa is the greatest women's wrestler in the world. And I believe what Tessa Blanchard can bring to, say, the AEW women's locker room would be game-changing. I would love to see her there. I would also love to see Tessa in the WWE women's locker room. I would love to see Tessa there as well. And, I don't know if anybody knows, or if you've heard any reports. What is Tessa Blanchard, up to nowadays? What has she been up to? I would love to see her back in a professional wrestling ring, either for AEW or WWE, because I'm telling you, Tessa Blanchard right there, she is the best women's wrestler in the world today. And she will be an absolute game changer for either the AEW or the WWE's women's division. Somebody out there, sign Tessa Blanchard to a big major contract right now. You will not regret it, because she is the best in the world at what she does. Alright, guys. And then finally here, Renee Paquette is then shown with Roderick Strong in the Kingdom, with Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. And Roderick Strong says by the end of the night, we will see who the real MJF and Adam Cole are at All In. And now that leads us to a match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. A tag team match, we got Aussie Open, Kyle Davis, Mark Fletcher, the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, defending their Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships against Matt and Jeff the Hardys. Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy in a championship match here. But first, before we get into that match, the Acclaimed, Platinum Max Caster, and Anthony Bowens, they make their way to the ring and demand that the House of Black come to the ring and fight. So the House of Black, they oblige with that, and the numbers advantage allows them to dominate the brawl over the Acclaimed. until badass Billy Gunn, no longer daddy ass, but they called him badass Billy Gunn, makes his return, coming out of retirement, which leads to the House of Black backing down. Badass Billy Gunn says they got his attention after he had to do the hardest things that he's ever had to do, walk out on the Acclaimed and leave behind his career. However, last week, the House of Black hurt one of his kids, and then they destroyed his wrestling boots because they pissed on his career. For one more time, at All In, Billy Gunn says he will take everything from the House of Black. Billy Gunn says at All In, it is House of Black versus the Acclaimed, and there's a badass coming to London, and his name is Billy Gunn. What a match for the AEW World Trios Championships. If they're going to put the Trios Championships on the line, which I hope so. And I actually hope the Acclaimed and badass Billy Gunn win the match. Man, would that be a moment. Unless it'll be non-title. I don't know if they officially made that yet, but, somebody let me know. So now let's get into Aussie Open defending the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles against the Hardys. Aussie Open jumps the Hardys, and they jump the Hardys immediately, but the Hardys fight back as they all brawl in the corners. Matt Hardy drops down to the mat, allowing Jeff Hardy to leap off of him, doing the poetry in motion, which he does twice, to hit each Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis. The Hardys then work with a double team series of moves against Kyle Fletcher as both teams brawl on the outside of the ring. Fletcher nails Jeff Hardy with a super kick though, while Mark Davis drops Matt Hardy onto the ring apron. The match finally settles with Jeff Hardy being isolated inside the ring, but he manages to make the tag to his brother Matt Hardy as Matt comes in and begins taking down Fletcher with his delete attacks and the turnbuckle pads. Davis then gets dropped with the DDT as Matt Hardy hits the side effect to Fletcher, which gets him a near fall. Matt Hardy looks for a twist of fate, but Fletcher reverses it, only to eat a flurry of punches in the corner of the ring. Matt Hardy joins him on the top turnbuckle and nails a superplex as Jeff Hardy comes in with the splash, but Davis breaks things up, breaking up the pin. Aussie Open then hit a huge double team to Jeff as he was launched in the air, and they dropped down to the mat so they could get the 1-2-3 and the pin and the win to retain the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. So your winners and still the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions are Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis. And so they're going to be taking on officially MJF and Adam Cole for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships at the 0 hour pre-show for All In. After the match, this is when something big happens. Aussie Open claims that they will still be Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions after Sunday, baby. This leads to MJF and Adam Cole heading to the ring to face off with Aussie Open as they begin brawling, which ultimately leads to them trying for a double clothesline and a kangaroo kick. But Aussie Open do get dropped as MJF and Adam Cole help each other when their backs are turned. However, Adam Cole goes for a super kick only for Fletcher to avoid it as he nearly hits MJF, but MJF grabs Adam Cole's foot and they have like an intense stare down. It leads to some tension as they pose over the AEW World Heavyweight Championship belt. MJF, when Adam Cole's holding out his hand for a handshake, MJF barges past Adam Cole, shoulder checking him. Adam Cole's just standing there with his back to MJF with his head down, and MJF then puts on his AEW Dynamite diamond ring. It looked like he was going to clock Adam Cole right in the back of the head with it, but MJF thought twice about it, put the ring away, put his hand down, and MJF and Adam Cole, they ultimately end up hugging it out. The crowd went nuts over that, and that's how AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest 2023 went off the air tonight. Incredible show, guys. I mean, really. Incredible show. So, let's take a look here as I get into the final stuff here before I rate the actual show. AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest 2023 for Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. 3 things Wrestling Inc. Hated and 3 things Wrestling Inc. loved about the show tonight. So let's see what they thought. This is, what they had to talk about. They said some things they're not going to talk about in this list include the Chris Jericho Will Ospreay contract signing. They say it was fine, but did we really need to do the nonsensical Don Callis feud to get here? The opening match between the Elite and the Bullet Club Gold, though we will talk about the Young Bucks. And the main event match between the Hardys and Aussie Open, though we will talk about MJF and Adam Cole. The fact that Jack Perry was not on the show to retire the FTW World Heavyweight Championship as advertised, presumably because they needed extra time for all-in match-changing angles, and because it would be pretty messed up to have Jack Perry trash talk ECW on the day that Terry Funk has passed away. So of course you already know what happened on the show because you're good and ethical. You're a good and ethical person who reads this coverage, but let's take it from here as we start off. The first thing that Wrestling Inc. hated about the show tonight was Swerved. They say might as well get the biggest thing out of the way first. AR Fox was set to team up with Swerve Strickland against Darby Allin and Sting at All In. It was the kind of spotlight AR Fox has never known before, and the kind of spotlight he deserves after years of selfless giving to the wrestling business. Now it is not happening, and there's probably a good reason for it. We know that. A travel issue, a family issue, something. This is not about assigning blame for AR Fox missing the show, but it does really suck. What we will assign blame for is the way they wrote AR Fox off the show, which is one of the stupidest things we've seen in wrestling this year, and we watch all 3 hours of Raw every week. What is more ridiculous? The fact that Swerve kicked AR Fox out of the Mogul Embassy mere weeks after inducting him because he got pinned in a tag team match, or the fact that Darby Allin and Nick Wayne were immediately prepared to accept AR Fox back into the fold afterward. Imagine if the Bloodline story was done in 3 weeks instead of 3 years. That is what this was. Now Swerve is teaming up with Christian Cage, presumably because Tony Khan was hoping to distract you from the booking train wreck unfolding before your eyes with the carrot of Christian, talks about Nick Wayne's dead dad, Buddy Wayne. For many of you, it worked, and we're happy for you. For us, it did not. And the funniest part is that at the end of the segment, you had Swerve, Christian, and Brian Cage, and Luchasaurus on one side of things, with Darby Allin, Nick Wayne, AR Fox, and Sting on the other side. So it was totally unclear what the new match actually was, because it could have become a 6 or 8 man tag based on what was unfolding on camera, as they announced it was still a tag team match after the fact. So the segment essentially failed to do the one thing it was intended to do. Great job, everyone. The first thing that Wrestling Inc. loved about AEW Dynamite tonight was they loved Too Proud, Too Powerful. The Swerve Fox thing might have sucked, but Wednesday's other Tony Khan scrambles to throw together some booking because one of the wrestlers he announced for Wembley can't actually make it segment was much more successful. For one thing, it came on the heels of a fantastic match between Jon Moxley and Rey Fenix. For another, the way Phoenix was written out of the All-In Stadium Stampede match actually made sense, as it was the tried and true heels put him in the hospital, and for a third, it involved the return of Santana after more than a year away from the ring with an injury, reuniting him with Ortiz, his partner in Proud and Powerful, and adding them to the heel side of Stadium Stampede, while removing Rey Fenix from the babyface side to even things out at 5-on-5. Perfect solution, they say 10 out of 10. Ortiz himself has not wrestled for Tony Khan in AEW since April, and after all the rumors about bad blood between Rey Fenix and Santana, and between Santana and AEW, it is great to see them back together. Or Tony Khan and Santana, or Ortiz and Santana, I don't know what they're referring to, but it says the move even makes perfect sense for storyline reasons, since Ortiz and Eddie Kingston were pretty regular tag team partners in the last few months of 2022, and adding him and Santana to the mix gives us the potential for even more Eddie Kingston friendship drama, which is the only thing this match should be about anyway. It makes so much sense that we're assuming Proud and Powerful were going to be announced as the participants, even with Rey Fenix still involved, which means there was someone else involved in the original plan. Maybe the mystery partner teaming with CM Punk, Darby Allin, and Sting on Collision this week. We admit we are extremely curious, but mostly we are just excited for Stadium Stampede at Wembley Stadium starring Eddie Kingston's feelings. Now, the second thing that Wrestling Inc. loved about the show tonight, the badass returns. Santana and Ortiz were not the only wrestlers to make their big return on Wednesday's Dynamite. Also returning was Billy Gunn, not as Daddy Ass, mind you, but as the badass Billy Gunn, who will team up with the Acclaimed one last time against the House of Black in an effort to take the AEW World Trios Championships from them at All In. So it is for the Trios titles. This is awesome. Billy Gunn cut a great promo where he referred to the Acclaimed explicitly as his kids and promised to bring back the side of himself that made him a WWE Hall of Famer, and we are just so excited to see him perform in front of that crowd at Wembley Stadium. Either he is back for good and they presumably win the Trios titles, or this is indeed his last match and 80,000 people send him off in style. In either case, Billy Gunn deserves it, and we are thrilled for the Acclaim too. They also deserve a spot on the All-In card for all the hard work that they have put in to get where they are today. And the truly incredible thing is the Acclaimed versus the House of Black has quietly been a really well-timed and nicely built feud, unlike basically every other All-In match except for MJF versus Adam Cole. This actually feels like the right time and the right place to blow this thing off based on how it has gone so far, which is just insanely refreshing. Maybe it should not be, but it is, and we will take it. So now the second thing that Wrestling Inc. hated about the show tonight is the elephant in the room. It says somewhat the opposite of how the Acclaimed versus the House of Black has been built, is how the Young Bucks and versus FTR have been built, which is weird considering FTR seems to be, the Young Bucks and FTR seem to be the bigger match by a wide margin. But aside from the opening segment, where FTR challenged the Young Bucks in the first place, it has just been a bunch of baby faces passively aggressing, saving each other from otherwise uninvolved heels, including this week when FTR came out to save the Young Bucks from the Bullet Club Gold. The one thing they have really done to add meaning or stakes to this match came later in Wednesday's Dynamite episode, which featured a sit-down between the two teams. And even then, it wasn't much of anything, as Matt Jackson was able to work up a little passion and talk briefly about how FTR would not have jobs if it wasn't for them. But mostly, the segment was about legacy and being the best, and feeding your family and blah blah blah, who cares. The net result of this now, of course, is that the only thing anybody is thinking going into this match is, I bet the Young Bucks are winning because Cash Wheeler got arrested the other day. There's your story. Hope you like it because it's the only one you've got. And here is the third thing that Wrestling Inc. hated about AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest 2023 today. They say what they hated, yet another middle finger to the women's division. It says, were you wondering how many women's matches happened on Dynamite and whether it was one like always? Were you wondering what time the match took place and whether it was 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time like always? Were you wondering, now that the tournament to earn a women's title match at All In had concluded, how much time and effort AEW would, design to spend on any further build for that match, and whether it was zero? Like always, well, you're in luck. AEW Dynamite featured one women's match at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that spent zero time or effort on further build for the AEW All-In women's title match. It says, hooray. None. A single one of the four, not a single one of the four women booked for Wembley Stadium this weekend appeared on AEW Dynamite. They will be in a tag team match against one another on this week's AEW Rampage, which is definitely not a step down or a lesser platform or a ratings travesty. Instead, we got Ruby Soho versus Sky Blue on Dynamite this week, and from what Ruby was saying, it seems like AEW could be doing their most hastily booked All-In match yet, with Ruby Soho taking on Chris Statlander for the AEW TBS Championship. Of course, that has not been officially announced yet, and why would it be? It is just the women's division. Guys, it can wait until a day or two before the show, or maybe they will give it an extra week of build and run it on All Out instead of the following weekend. It would be a shame to have more than one women's match at Wembley Stadium, after all, especially when even putting one women's match on that card apparently takes more effort than AEW would prefer to be spending. Well, they want to talk about, problems in the women's division. Like I said, it's very simple, a very simple fix. All they would have to do is hire the best women's wrestler in the world today, Tessa Blanchard, and that would fix all of AEW's problems in the women's division. Tessa Blanchard is the answer. Either WWE or AEW, do yourselves a favor and sign her to a contract right now. Period. Okay. And the third thing that Wrestling Inc. loved about AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest 2023 this week, they loved the fireworks factory cometh. So, let's talk about it. It will surprise absolutely no one to learn that we loved all things MJF and Adam Cole on this episode. It was a departure from recent weeks. There was no Adam and Max hangout at a random establishment vignette, and there was no in-ring promo segment between them. What we got were two individual sit-down interviews with Renee Paquette, both of which featured her digging into uncomfortable questions about the nature of their relationship, and one final segment after the main event of the evening. That placement was important, as the Adam Cole MJF story has rarely been featured in the main event spot of Dynamite, and Renee's digging was important too, as it set the stage for what was to come in more ways than one. We are still pretty sure turning Adam Cole heel is the way to go, according to them. I don't know if that's the way to go. I don't think so. They say, and hopefully it is the plan. MJF came off as very sincere in his interview, saying he is new at this whole being a good person thing, but he is doing his best at it. It was a radical departure from the end of 2022 when he pretended to turn babyface in the lead up to Full Gear and his AEW World Heavyweight Championship victory. This feels different. It feels genuine. Adam Cole's interview felt different. Whether it was lines like MJF made me remember who Adam Cole really is, or Adam Cole getting angrily defensive at the idea that there were any problems between himself and MJF, it felt like a person who is going to betray his best friend on Sunday. And in the main event segment, Adam Cole's primary action accidentally almost, super kicking MJF, despite apparently aiming for a member of Aussie Open. Was that of a heel pretending to be a babyface, while MJF's primary action thinking about hitting Adam Cole with the AEW Dynamite Diamond Ring, but ultimately deciding not to do so? Was that of a newly turned babyface trying not to be a heel? It all adds up. It all makes sense. The only question is, will AEW follow through on that logic and give this story the next chapter it deserves at Wembley Stadium, or will they opt for a swerve and turn MJF heel again and spit in the face of the concept of character growth and essentially tell everyone who has cared about this story that we were wasting our time? We certainly do not think Tony Khan is above the ladder, but we are hopeful, we are optimistic. This one last standoff between Adam Cole and MJF did the one thing that it needed to do: close the show on the image of the only two people who truly matter on Sunday and remind us why they are main eventing one of the biggest professional wrestling shows of all time. Swerve or no swerve, we are almost to the fireworks factory. Let's fucking go. I'm telling you, that match is going to be the shit, guys. I can't wait. And that was it. 3 things that wrestling hated and loved about AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest tonight. Incredible stuff. As far as the card changes here, the full thing on the Christian Cage story, just so you guys know about this, Christian Cage, he replaces AR Fox in the tag team coffin match at AEW All In. Christian Cage is headed to London, England at Wembley Stadium. During Wednesday's AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest special, Swerve Strickland had Prince Nana dismiss AR Fox from the Mogul affiliates after he was the one to be pinned in their Tornado Tag Team match against Darby Allin and Nick Wayne. Brian Cage then blindsided AR Fox and caught him with a drill claw. All was not lost for AR Fox, though, as he found some aid in Darby Allin, Nick Wayne, and Sting. After helping AR Fox up, Darby Allin asked Swerve Strickland who AR Fox's replacement was in the tag team coffin match at AEW All In against himself and Sting. Christian Cage and AEW TNT champion Luchasaurus came down to the ring on the entrance ramp, and Christian Cage revealed himself to be the man after some choice words for Nick Wayne about his father, the late Buddy Wayne. AR Fox first joined forces with the Mogul Embassy in late July, betraying Darby Allin during a singles match that he had with Swerve on AEW Dynamite. Prior to that, he had been aligned. AR Fox has been with Top Flight and wrestled a variety of matches across AEW Dynamite, AEW Dark Elevation, and AEW Rampage dating back to July of 2022. The tag team coffin match was initially announced 2 weeks ago, ultimately boiling down to tensions arising between Darby Allin and Swerve Strickland in the 2023 Royal Rampage match. So, that's everything, that you need to know. And then one final thing I could kind of give you guys here before I rate the show and close this out. WWE Hall of Famer Edge reveals the most memorable match of his career. Over the course of his 31-year career, 25 of them with WWE, Edge has had countless singles and tag team matches with some of the biggest names in WWE. During a recent appearance on WWE's The Bump, Edge revealed which one of them was the most memorable for him during a round of rapid-fire questions with co-host Caleb Braxton. Edge said, and I quote, Undertaker at WrestleMania 24, Edge says, it is my first main event of WrestleMania, and to see The Undertaker in the ring as I'm walking down to the ring, losing feeling in my arms because I'm just so amped. When asked which current WWE talent Edge wanted to face for the first time, Edge said that he would enjoy sharing the squared circle with Matt Riddle and one half of the reigning undisputed WWE Tag Team Champion Sami Zayn. He even had a couple of legends he wished that he could have faced in a one-on-one match. Edge says, and I quote, Bret Hart. Edge says, I think we faced each other in like an 8-man tag team match or something like that. But Prime Rated R Superstar going up against Prime Hitman, Iron Man, that would have been fun. Or Prime Rattlesnake up against Prime Rated R, that would have been pretty fun too, for Stone Cold Steve Austin. But Edge and Bret the Hitman Hart were opponents in a match on only one occasion. It was during an episode of Raw in 2010 when Edge and Chris Jericho went up against Bret the Hitman Hart and John Cena in a lumberjack match that ended in a no contest. And the future of Edge's career currently hangs in the balance, with reports surfacing that Edge could either be hanging up his wrestling boots for good or jumping ship to AEW once his current contract with the WWE runs out, reportedly at the end of September. So he's got about another month to go before that contract runs out. But the match that Edge had on SmackDown was the last contracted match, that he had in his contract. And, the contract itself just runs out at the end of September. This was from WWE's The Bump. Wrestling Inc. did the transcription to it. And my question is, if Edge makes his way to AEW, will his favorite match of all time possibly change? You never know. It might. It very well might. And there is something here that I have found regarding MJF. So let's talk about this little piece of news here. What I see on MJF. And MJF thinks that a win at AEW All-In would affect his place in wrestling. AEW World Heavyweight Champion MJF has an opportunity to do what Bret the Hitman Hart and Macho Man Randy Savage could not do: win a match at Wembley Stadium. MJF says, and I quote, "This is history in front of your very own eyes," MJF told Sports Illustrated. Continuing on, and I quote, "This has never happened before. No company has ever become this big so quickly. The pay-per-view at Wembley is massive, and no star has ever reached this level like I have." End quote. MJF might be friends with his All-In main event title challenger in Adam Cole, but MJF is clearly focused on what a win in Wembley Stadium would mean for his career. MJF then says, and I quote, "A win in Wembley Stadium makes me undeniably legendary," MJF explained. A win, continuing on, and I quote, "A win at Wembley Stadium puts me in the same breath and vein as some of the greatest ever in this sport. That is my ultimate goal, and that is what I'm going to achieve on August 27th. End quote. The All In London pay-per-view will be the first professional wrestling event to be staged at a venue known as Wembley Stadium since WWE held the 1992 edition of SummerSlam in the original incarnation of Wembley Stadium, which was demolished in the early 2000s to make room for the new and improved Wembley Stadium. As it stands, AEW has distributed and sold over 80,000 tickets and has reportedly made $10 million in revenue from the event already, with the bulk of the hype for it currently being carried by the rivalry become friendship of MJF and Adam Cole, who will not only compete in the main event of the evening of All In, but they will also team together on the first match of the night on the All In 0 Hour pre-show, challenging the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis of Aussie Open for their titles. And that's the question. Is something going to happen in that match to totally blow everything up? Or, are they going to get along and actually win the championships and make the main event even more intriguing? I don't know. I really don't know, but I'm interested to find out for sure. And one more thing on MJF and Adam Cole here, so let me get into this right here. AEW stars Adam Cole and MJF are set to appear on Hot Ones, Truth or Dab. Since forming the most beautiful friendship since Rick Blaine and Louis Reinhold, AEW World Heavyweight Champion MJF and Adam Cole, or as the kids call them, the Brochachos, have partaken in many best friend activities. That has included double clotheslining people into kiddie pools, playing dodgeball at a bouncy house, and at one point having really spicy food at a Boston restaurant. Evidently, however, one spicy food adventure wasn't enough for the duo, as earlier today Adam Cole took to Twitter to reveal that he and his best friend MJF will be appearing on Hot Ones, Truth or Dab, a spin-off to the popular internet series Hot Ones. The episode will air tomorrow on the First We Feast YouTube channel. Adam Cole tweeted out a video, "Tomorrow it's going down," with a hot pepper emoji, and then he added MJF and put a hashtag Truth or Dab, and it's like a video that you can watch of them announcing it. But much like Hot Ones and the True TV game show Hot Ones, the game show Hot Ones Truth or Dab sees celebrities eating very hot chicken wings, with the catch being that they do so while playing a game of Truth or Dare. While this will be the first appearance of Adam Cole and MJF on any of the Hot Ones shows, they are not the first wrestlers to appear, following in the footsteps of Mercedes Moné and formerly known as Sasha Banks, and professional wrestling legends and Hall of Famers Goldberg, The Undertaker, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Truth or Dare aspect of Truth or Dab will serve as another test for the MJF-Adam Cole bromance, which is days away from facing its toughest test of all. Not only will MJF and Adam Cole open All In the 0 Hour pre-show by challenging Aussie Open from the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles, but they will also be main eventing the main card of All In, with Adam Cole challenging MJF for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, as MJF and Adam Cole are expected to speak on both matches tonight on AEW Dynamite in separate sit-down interviews with Renee Paquette. And this whole MJF Adam Cole Truth or Dab thing, with this whole Truth or Dare thing to go along with it, it could bring out more to really make this even all the more interesting headed into All In, guys. So, that's everything. That's every piece of news. Everything that I could get you guys caught up on headed into AEW All In this Sunday. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hey, Courtney, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. You're just catching me on my way out, but it's good to see you. Thank you for dropping in. But, yeah, guys, this is a great show. This is how you build to pay-per-view. This is how you get people excited for a pay-per-view. And I can't wait to see what they do on Sunday afternoon. I'm looking forward to it. I think this is going to be amazing. And I will say that AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest 2023 for today, Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. I'm going to give this show, especially for a go-home show that was this good, I'm going to give it the old 10 out of 10 plus right there. And the 2 thumbs up and the big T seal of approval. Incredible show tonight. And it really makes me want to watch that pay-per-view. They laid the dollar short, huh? Oh, Courtney, thank you for coming in. It's always good to see you. I appreciate it. Alright, guys. So, it was a great, great night. And a wonderful show to talk about. And we'll see what happens at All In. And just so you know, you guys will get the All In review on Sunday. And then on Monday, you'll get the Monday Night Raw review. And then after that, I will be taking the week off. As far as SmackDown, maybe do a SmackDown review on Friday. Collision, I don't think there's much going on because they're going to be showing stuff live from Wembley to get started for All In. So we'll see. But, yeah, you know. So a couple more shows for sure, All In and Monday Night Raw, and then I'll be taking the entire week off, and then I'll catch you guys after Labor Day when we get to that point. So just letting you guys know ahead of time, but that's the current schedule. So that's what we got. Great show, and that's going to do it for me here, guys. So thank you very much for watching and listening to episode number 514 of the Beyond the Ring with Big T Elite Wrestling podcast here for today, Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. This has been your AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest 2023 review and results show. And I will see you guys next time. And yes, there will be a next time for me right here on Beyond the Ring with Big T. That will be for definitely your AEW All-In review results show. I might do preview predictions beforehand too on Saturday, real quick. It'll just be a quick one, and then Sunday the All-In review results. So that'll be fun. And then yeah, so I'll see you there for that. And don't forget us, and we won't forget you. And of course, if you want the best, and yes, I do mean the absolute best, for all of your professional wrestling needs, right here on the internet, right here on YouTube.com today. Always remember to think Beyond the Ring with Big T. And then, of course, everybody also, you know, like I said, thank you very much for watching and listening to episode number 514 of the Beyond the Ring with Big T Elite Wrestling podcast here. Your AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest 2023 review and results show. This is all for today, Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. And this was your AEW All In 2023 Go Home show. They're saying the biggest wrestling show in professional wrestling history. We'll see if AEW lives up to it on Sunday afternoon. So that'll be exciting. And, yeah, guys, so that's what we got. And, of course, as always, everybody, always remember and never ever forget that I'm your host, Big T, and then I will see all of you at the matches, and I will see all of you if I don't see you for SmackDown or Collision or anything. Then I'll end up seeing you guys for a quick preview and predictions of All In, probably sometime on Saturday. And then All In review results on Sunday afternoon to early evening, whenever the show were to end. So we'll see how it goes, but I'll be here for that. And then we're on Monday, and then taking a week off, and I'm excited for that, really excited for that. But yeah, guys, so hope you enjoyed the show, And like I said, I'm your host, Big T. I'll see y'all at the matches. And of course, take care, everybody. And you guys know, I love you all. Rest in peace, Terry Funk. And like I said earlier, AEW or WWE, one of you sign Tessa Blanchard right now. Like I spoke of earlier, make sure you guys do that. Game changer for women's wrestling right there. So, take care, everybody. I love you all. And of course, good night, everybody. Ha 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 ha.
This is M-Dog 20, Matt Cross. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and you were checking out Beyond the Ring with my man, Big T. Thank you, man. Big T.
Hello, this is EC3 of TNA Wrestling, and you are so very fortunate because you are watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
This is the bad boy Joey Janela, and you're watching Beyond the Ring, Big T.